What's going on, everybody? Jason here, and today I've got this 2022 Kia Carnival SX. Right before we jump into this beautiful Kia Carnival, if you enjoy these types of videos, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, as it does help out with the YouTube algorithm, and of course it also supports the channel. With that being said, let's jump into what the different trim levels are when it comes to the Kia Carnival. So you can get the base model, which is the LX. You can bump it up to the LX Plus, EX, EX Plus, and of course this top of the top SX. And when it comes to the standard safety features on this SX, because this is the top trim that you can get, this is going to have all of your safety features, such as your safe exit assist system, blind spot view monitor, blind spot collision avoidance assist, lane keep assist system, lane follow assist, driver attention warning, advanced forward collision avoidance assist with junction turning function, your front and rear parking sensors, parking collision avoidance assist reverse, rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist, and your around view monitor. Starting things off in the front of this Kia Carnival, you can see just how nice this looks, and by far this is probably the most boldest looking minivan, and it looks really great. Starting things off at the bottom, in the center you've got this aluminum trim piece along with the matte black surrounding it, and even along your LED headlights you've got aluminum trim in there, and it just looks really nice and clean. And of course in the center, right under your license plates, you do have your sensors for the front and whatnot, and also your front sensors built into the bumper. As you move into the grille area, this is a very unique looking grille, and it's probably my most favorite looking one so far, because you've got this silver painted grille in this unique styling. And if you look really closely in the center of the grille, you do have a little camera hidden away in the front, and then in the corners, those two lights on both sides, those are your high beams. And then if you take a look at the headlights, now these are very sleek looking headlights, because not only do you have your actual headlight, of course, the projector, but underneath it you do have this kind of like a staggered shape from the top to the bottom, which is your LED bar, and then you do have your light in the middle there as well. So it's a very distinctive design that Kia came up with. And of course at the top you do have more aluminum trim along with the all new Kia logo. Taking a look at the Kia Carnival from the side, as you can see, there's a ton of blacked out trim pieces, because that is what you get with the SX trim, because along your window trim everything is blacked out. Above your window trim you also have your roof rails, of course. You've got the black / aluminum chrome finish, and then you do have your half body color, half black side mirrors, which are power folding mirrors, of course, and they also have cameras built in. You've also got your body color / chrome door handles, and near the doors at the bottom you've also got your chrome trim piece, and then you can't forget about these gorgeous 19-inch black alloy wheels. Now these, I think, even though this is a minivan, they actually suit the vehicle really well. And of course, depending on the trim that you choose, they're going to be different for each trim. Another thing that really stands out taking a look at the Kia Carnival from the side is your trim piece by the rear window. This has this nice kind of similar pattern to your front grille embedded right into that chrome aluminum piece, and you can clearly see this minivan stands out from its competitors. Coming to the rear of the Kia Carnival, just like the front, you can see even the back looks very distinctive from everything else. Over at the bottom you've got this whole bottom section in black with your aluminum trim piece, and then of course your rear parking sensors as well. On your tailgate you've got this nice Carnival lettering, and this tailgate is a smart power tailgate, which is pretty much if you have the key fob with you, the vehicle will detect it and open up by itself. And making your way to the rear taillights, you can see this massive strip piece which just looks really nice. And then of course in the center you do have your refreshed Kia logo, and then your backup camera right underneath. Even at the top you have kind of this spoiler type of a thing with your light bar as well, and it just makes the whole vehicle look even aggressive from the back end. Opening up the back, and as you can see you have a ton of room back here, because that storage area down there is pretty deep, because as you can see here there's a ton of room down below here, and that's obviously because these rear third row seats can also be folded into the floor there. So once you go ahead and fold the third row seats into the floor there, you can see you have even more room up top if you need to put whatever you need to in there. But if you just have the third row seats even folded forward, even that's going to give you a decent amount of room up top, plus you'll have the bottom space here as well. Also on the sides you just have some storage spaces, and that's pretty much it. But if you move over to the other side, you're also going to have a 12-volt adapter along with a 115-volt plug as well. Coming into the interior of the Kia Carnival, starting off in the third row, as you can see everything inside is fully leather seats, and even in the third row you have a decent amount of room to fit 3 people or 3 kids or whatever comfortably. So you've got enough room back here, and they also do get their own cup holders on both sides along with USB port ports on both sides, and you do have a sunshade on the third window as well. Now, as for these second row luxury captain chairs, I will show you in a second, but these seats can turn into like a VIP lounge area on an airplane with your very own kick-out leg rest. But you can see just how comfortable these seats look, and of course these seats have to be comfortable because what I'm about to show you. But let's quickly start off at the side here. You have these two latches. So one latch is to move your seat forward and backwards, of course, and the second one is to move your seats side to side, which I haven't seen in any other minivan, and that's quite an interesting feature to have. And on the insides of those seats, you do have, of course, your power seats for the second row, of course, and then those two buttons at the top is what turns this into a VIP chair, reclining chair, whatever you want to call it. So once you go ahead and press that button, as you can see, this turns into a very comfortable second row seating, and this is perfect, especially if you're going on long road trips. But the only downside is if you have people in the third row, they're not going to be so comfortable. Also, the people in the second row also have their very own power sunroof, not just a normal glass area, but it's a power sunroof, which is really nice. Also in the second row, of course, you have your own dome lighting, and then you do have your control for the rear sunroof, but you also have a camera for the rear passengers, the second and third row, which you can access from your front touchscreen, which I'll show you. Also, the second row people have access to the vehicle's voice controls as well. And of course, you also have your very own climate control in the back, which is pretty standard on all vehicles. Now, when it comes to the door trim, this is a very unique looking door trim because you have this nice gloss black piece along with this nice white kind of creamish paneling as well, and then more gloss black around your controls, the window controls. The second row seats are also heated and ventilated seats, which you can control from right there. And of course, on both the power sliding side doors, you also have your sunshades as well. And at the bottom, you do have some space for cup holders and whatnot. And right next to your handle on the pillar there, you do have a button to close your power doors. Behind the driver and passenger seating, you've got this plastic piece that goes the whole way. You have mat pockets as well on both sides for extra storage. However, on the passenger side and the driver side, you have a USB port in there, and the second row people can actually control and move the passenger seat front and back, which can get annoying, especially if you have kids in the back. As for the rear center console, you've got more of that gloss black, of course, and then you do have two cup holders, and then underneath that you have another 115 volt plug along with another 12 volt adapter as well. Making your way to the front of the Kia Carnival, you can see the door layout is pretty much the same as the rear doors. At the bottom, you've got some storage space and of course for cup holders. Above that, you've got the same creamish whitish trim piece, which just looks amazing with this color combo. You've got your speaker there. Now this has the Bose sound system, which of course sounds really nice. And then around your window controls and all of that, you do have some more gloss black trim. And then you can't forget about the massive piece of gloss black around your door handle, and you also have your memory seating. Now, as for the front seats, they're exactly like the second row seats. Of course, you can't turn these into VIP seats because you're in the front, of course, but regardless of that, these are very comfortable, just like the second row. And these are also heated and ventilated, which is amazing. In terms of your interior, you can get two different options. You can either get the black on black and the white creamish that you see here, or you can get the brown interior as well. But I believe that depends on the exterior color that you choose, because you can't get brown with every single exterior color that they have available. It's only particular ones. Also, the front seats are power seats, which is very convenient. Underneath, nothing too special, just your foot pedals, and on the left side, you do have your hood latch release. Moving above that, you have a few controls. You can open and close your rear power doors, of course. You can open and close your tailgate, and you can turn off the power doors for the rear. Above that, you've got your light dimmers, your lane departure warning, and then of course your traction control. As for the steering wheel, it is a manual adjustable steering wheel. I wish it was power because you've got a ton of goodies in this already, but unfortunately it's a manual adjustable. Now, when you go ahead and enter into the Kia Carnival, you've got kind of this staggered dashboard, which kind of breaks it apart from everything else. You've got speakers on both corners, and then of course in the center as well. Now, this is probably my second favorite feature next to the rear VIP seats, is that you have a full digital gauge cluster in a minivan. But as you can see, the layout and everything, it just looks really pleasing. And of course, in the center, you have different options and things you can have in front of you. So you can have any type of menu that you need to. You can have your map, your vehicle information, your lane departure stuff, everything that you want, you can have it in front of you. Now, as you move on to the steering wheel, this is a fully leather wrapped steering wheel, and of course it's heated. And just like the rest of the vehicle, even on this, you have tons and tons of gloss black trim. Over on the left side of the steering wheel, you've got your volume buttons, your Bluetooth buttons, and you've got a mode button as well. Over on the the right side of the steering wheel, you do have your safety feature buttons, so your lane keep assist, cruise control, and then of course your controls for the center gauge cluster. Now behind the steering wheel on the left side, you have controls for your lighting, your front lights of course, and then your fog lights as well, along with your turn signals. And on the right side behind the steering wheel, you've got controls for your front and rear windshield wipers and fluid. Moving over to your center handrest, you've got this massive white creamish material with obviously full of leather, and this color combination actually looks really nice. But if you go ahead and open up the center handrest, you've got a decent amount of room inside of there. Now in front of your handrest, you have a little storage area to put small little items, and if you move above that, you have a bunch of different buttons. So on the left and right sides, you have controls for your front heated and ventilated seating of course, and in the center there, you have controls for your heated steering wheel, your parking sensors which you can turn on and off, and then you have your camera system. So when you press that, this is what it brings up. So it brings up different angles of your vehicle, which is nice, especially if you're parking and whatnot. And then you also have access to the cameras on the side mirrors like I mentioned. And all of this is finished in this nice aluminum trim, because if you look above that, you've got more of that nice gloss black material, and you do have of course your front cup holders, and then you have your drive modes. So depending on what you're in, your center gauge cluster will actually change accordingly. So if you go into normal, eco, sport, or even smart, it will change the whole layout. And I really like how they did this, especially for a minivan. It just makes it feel like a more sporty vehicle than a minivan itself. And then also you've got your electronic parking brake and then your auto hold as well. Above that, you do have your nice leather wrapped gear shifter, and in the section in front of your gear selector, you have a little bit more room along with a wireless charging pad and then more USB ports. Moving further up, you've got of course more and more gloss black everywhere inside here, and then you have your climate, heating and cooling buttons of course, and above that you have your radio controls, and then you have your map buttons, navigation, media, and all of that good stuff. And then you come to this beautiful 12.3-inch multimedia interface, which just looks stunning. Also, you've got different little sections that you can kind of go into, so you've got a ton of different applications. So on this, you can even choose your user profile settings, so you can have more than one driver. And once you go into your navigation, you've got this beautiful screen setup of course, and you can also use the passenger talk, which I was talking about in the rear. So your front microphone will actually pick up your voice and play it through the rear speakers, which is nice. And you can also access this at the back like I've shown you. And then you've also got access to your rear camera like I've shown you in the second row. You have eyes on the second row and the third row as well, so you can always keep an eye out on your kids. And then you have your passenger talk button next to it, so if they're misbehaving, just press that button and speak to them. You've also got a quiet mode, which if you're playing music or anything throughout the speakers, that will only limit it to the front speakers. And just like your climate buttons below, you can also access them through the touchscreen, which I think is way more convenient. And if that wasn't enough, you can also play sounds of nature. So I guess if you're out camping or something, you can really immerse yourself into the camping atmosphere. Up above, you've got obviously your rear view mirror, but if you move further up, you've guessed it, you've got more gloss black. But not only that, you do have your interior dome lighting of course, your assist, SOS, and then access to control your front power sunroof and your rear one. Coming over to the passenger side, in your glove department, as you can see, you have a decent amount of room in here as well. Pretty standard to pretty much every vehicle, give or take some, and that's pretty much it. Also, on the interior, you also have this nice aluminum strip piece that goes through the whole cabin in the front, and then you've got those kind of like the designs that you saw in the front grille kind of embedded into that as well. As for what powers this luxurious minivan, this of course is your front wheel drive of course, but it's going to be powered by your 3.5 liter 8-speed automatic V6, which is going to give you 290 horsepower and 262 foot-pound of torque. In terms of towing with this bad boy, you can tow about 3,500 pounds. Here is what the key fob looks like for the Kia Carnival. It's a pretty unique key. You've got your remote start of course, and then you've got your buttons here to open up the side power doors, and then on the edges of your key you've got your lock, unlock, tailgate open, and panic button. As for the window sticker, there wasn't a official window sticker for this unfortunately, but like I mentioned, this is the fully loaded trim that you can get the top of the top, so it has every single option that every other trim would. But as for the price for this particular one, it'll cost you $51,483. This is of course plus tax, and keep in mind this is in Canadian dollars, and also if the dealership or the manufacturer is offering any discounts. Well, that does it for this 2022 Kia Carnival SX. Let me know in the comments down below if you love this or do you hate it.